in this video I want to take a look at a component that I bought for the car. This is what that is. I'm not sure if it's zero or if that's how they pronounce it, but anyways, you can see the information on there. And here's the back. Let's see if I can get more light here. There we go. So you can see that. Basically what this component is for is to allow you to get an accessory line on your car, or an extra accessory line instead of trying to get an accessory from your ignition switch, for example. In this case, I want to use this for a rear camera. My old one died for whatever reason, and so I decided to get another one from eBay. But this one, it came with RCA cables, connectors. So I just cut them off, cut the old connector from here, and transfer it to this one. However, when I plug this into the dash cam wire, it doesn't work. It doesn't light. The camera doesn't work. And then I realized that I believe this is a 5-volt camera and this is a 12-volt camera. That's how I realized what this was. And then I look at the specs, and sure enough, there are 5-volt cameras and 12-volt cameras. So because I didn't burn this, because it didn't even turn on, that's how I knew it was a 12-volt camera. Now, the original wiring has an extra pair of black and white wires coming out of the adapter. I didn't need them with this camera, so I never had to plug that in. But with this camera, it seems like it does need that power. So what I'm going to do is put this on that end of that line, and then connect this to those lines and connect the camera, turn everything on, and see if it works. That's the idea behind this. And just to show you here, it does come with a 15 amp fuse. It's the plastic came off because I couldn't. It was very hard to take out. So for the testing purposes, it works, but I'll be changing it later. But I wanted to check and make sure that everything was okay. But anyways, that's how this one came. Another thing on our part of this component is the wires. It looks like you get some type of aluminum wire. It's not actual copper, so that kind of sucks because the wires are pretty stiff. So that's the only thing I wasn't too crazy about. Fortunately, for something this small, I don't think I have to worry about that heating up too much or at all, if any. So, but you know, it's just something to keep in mind. But these are only a couple bucks, not too bad. You know, I got it online. Now, this is the second video I'm doing this because I just realized that I was testing it the opposite of what I have now. I had the leads on this side, and I was getting the voltage here. So I'm going to test it the correct way, which is from the battery side going here, and see what I get on this end here. I'm ready to go, so I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. And let me get the multimeter real quick. So we'll go ahead and take a look and see what we get on the side where the camera is going to be plugged in. So make sure I don't short anything out. I think that's in the camera there. So as you can see, there is no voltage there. Let's spread these out a little more just to be safe. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on my power supply here. Alright, this is live. So let's see what I get on here now. Okay. That's interesting. I'm getting 0.06 volts. I'm not getting anything out of this. It is turned on. I do get 12 voltage 12 volts out of this, just to show you. There should be 12 volts coming out. Exactly what you see there. Huh, that's pretty interesting. I don't know if I did anything or if it actually if I ruin it by putting the power on this side and testing it that way. I do get 12 volts that way. But I'm not sure if this actually detects when the battery voltage changes, and I can't do that on this. I don't have a knob to change the voltage. It's just 12 volts out on those two ports. So this is kind of interesting. So I'll have to test it on the car and see if it actually works once I turn the car on, because that's when it's supposed to work, when the car is on. So I'm guessing it does detect your voltage going up or changing when the car is on, and obviously actually that's fine, because we obviously, I'm just surprised I see 0.06, but the reason for that is because we don't want to drain the battery either, but we don't want anything draining. I still get about 1.0, almost 1 volt. So that's not good. You don't want to get a drain on anything, because it will drain your battery, even if it's just very small. So that's interesting. Anyways, just for the heck of it, let me change it to show you the other way, because it does work that way. Now let me turn this off real quick, just to be safe. We're gonna swap wires, because this is how I did it on the first time around, and that's why I'm doing the video again, just to make sure I did it correctly. But I'll check these out. So voltage does come out this way, which is interesting. I get 11.5 volts coming back from here, but normally this is the out, so the voltage needs to come in from these two ends. But as you can see here, I get a reading when it's on, but if I swap it, there's no reading. So there's probably a diode in there doing that. So I thought that was interesting, so that's why I wanted to make the video again, just to double check that. So that's what I get on, depending on which side I put the voltage on. So that's pretty much it for this component. Nothing too much to it. I have to test it on the car. If it does work, I'll add it on the comments. Always check the comments. That's usually where I update any of the videos if something changes. And for a couple bucks, if it works, that's a great deal, because I don't have to change the wiring or the actual dash cam to make the rear camera work again. And this is just what happened to mine. Yours may be different, because I have had to change that wiring 2 or 3 times already, and it's kind of painful. So that's why I was looking at something else that I could use in order to solve that problem, so I don't have to keep doing that. But there you go. That's the I don't know, what do we call these? The accessory component, so they can have an extra accessory wire somewhere. I think it does detect the voltage, and that's what you go that's what you go by. So should be interesting to see that. I still have to plug it into those extra two wires that are coming out of the camera on the back. Like I said before, The reason I didn't need them before is because this was a, I think, a 5 volt, 5 or 6 volt camera, and the new one is 12 volts. So just keep that in mind when you're working with cameras or small cameras on cars, because they are different and the connectors are different. I cut the RCA's on this one just because, as you can see, these are 4 LEDs and these are double that, which is the 8 on that. So that's a 12 volts and this is a 5 volt.